listening to this podcast out of Boston called the Bean Shooter Podcast. It can be pretty entertaining and pretty therapeutic at times. I also listen to a guy called, he's Scottish, but I think he lives in the UK, called Sober Start, which is pretty decent. First couple weeks of getting off alcohol, which just sounds like a fucking, man, I do not miss detoxing off of drugs or being dope sick in the fucking least, you know, or coming down off of crack or fucking whatever. Oof. But I don't know, just thinking about, he owns a couple, like, he owns a couple of sober houses, and just thinking of all the, like, people that I've seen along this fucking journey, you know. Remember, at this one homeless shelter, I put it on my YouTube before, I keep forgetting, the Friary it is. It's on Main Street near Utica Street Station in Buffalo. We all used to eat breakfast in the morning. There'd be one dude passed out in his fucking Cheerios, nodding out already. He'd be the first out. I had a dude named Blue. He was like a 70-year-old felon, murdered like 2 people. He almost killed me at one time. And he used to smoke crack, right? And he would get so fucking delusional that he would be like hiding behind shit during supper time. He'd be like hiding behind the library bookshelf, looking out, peeping out at people. And I was like, yo, what the fuck's up with this clown? And the dude's like, oh, he's smoking crack. I walk in the bathroom. This black dude, I ended up getting him kicked out because he was a sex offender. He was sitting right in full view. Right in full view when you walked in the hallway, in the shower, in the bathroom, and it was a nice place, you know what I mean? And he's sitting there in the chair with a stem in his hand, lighting up a fucking torch, just smoking crack like he was, just chewing sunflower seeds. I've just seen so many. I had a really good pair of friends on Shenango in West Buffalo in the Puerto Rican side of town. 2 brothers. They couldn't have been more different from each other. They used to have this thing called tea, which was a fancy word for PCP back in the day. And it was very popular, but he was just telling me, like, Seneca Street in Buffalo was like a real, like, fucking, and you see the leftover results of people from PCP, but the one, there's so many people that are, you'd think that because people are old that they don't do drugs. I've seen dudes smoking crack that were 65, 70 years old, and this is going back 15 years ago. You know what I mean? It's fucking incredible, the shit that, it's white hairs. Just want to make sure. It's incredible. But, I remember I was at this dude's house in Niagara Falls doing a bed bug job or something, and he used to pay me in Percocets, crack, and a little bit of money. You know what I mean? So I had just gotten this shit is so long ago, I don't even really remember. I either had gotten my surgery or I was like weeks away, and they were smoking a joint on the porch. And my neck, I had a broken fucking neck at the time. I had two cracked vertebrae and one slightly crushed, vertebrae in my neck. I ended up getting a fucking metal cage inserted in my neck. My friend broke my neck fucking dicking around doing jujitsu. And I should have tapped. But anyways, so I'm on the porch. I said, can I get a hit of that, man? So I didn't want to take his Percocets yet because I wanted to smoke the crack first, and I didn't want to smoke the crack at the job. And I had done that before. I remember I stole crack from a fucking 14-year-old kid's book bag that he just came home from school in on a job. You know what I mean? fucking crazy. But so I took a hit off this joint, and I don't know what vortex or dimension I got shifted in or moved to for a minute, but I literally, and I've taken, I've done, I haven't done Quaaludes or anything, but I've done enough drugs to know that I have never done anything like this. So I don't know if it was K2 or PCP or ketamine. It probably wasn't ketamine and marijuana. But that shit put me in a fucking hole where I literally, walking my dog, this fucking nerd. I literally didn't know where I was, who these people were, how I even got to this. I was in this neighborhood in Niagara Falls. I could take you there right now. It looked like Niagara Falls started looking like Detroit. It looked like a bombed out fucking movie scene. There's a house that was fucked. There's like 4 houses. Nobody lives in them. One house. People in one house. They found a fucking human torso in. Awesome neighborhood. I remember going falling into the table, and they caught me, and I was fucking 300 pounds. They put me down, and I remember looking in the parking lot going, where's my truck? Did I get paid yet for this job? Did I spray this couch? And I'm like looking at it, and I had no fucking idea. And this is like 2015. I had no fucking idea. And then all of a sudden I came to, and I was like, yo, what the fuck was in that shit? And they're like, oh man, you good? I said, yeah, I'm good, but dude, don't be giving people some shit like that. I go, that's a fucking thing that you have a conversation. I was pissed about that, PCP, whatever the fuck it was. But, people would tell me they used to snort it, go fishing, whatever the fuck, and I was just like, I just am so glad that God delivered me from that garbage and that lifestyle. And people just, when I tell you people, places, and things, and the truth about your situation, the truth about what you're doing with your life, the truth about everything is so vital. And therapy was so vital. And just turning my life back over to Christ and telling him, and just having the faith to believe. I'm a guy I spent every day going to get pills, or every 2 days, and stealing people's pills. And, if I got 20, I never had more than, my phone would be getting turned off, the rent was late, the cats barely had enough cat food at the time, and, I just try to tell, it's like people want to hear, there's a drink mix you can drink and your life is going to get better. They don't realize, it wasn't, I knew we were on the upward path, and, the trajectory had shifted, but, I just said, it's fucking still work, man. There is no, you're going to just fucking get, I knew God was talking to me, and I knew things were getting better, and they can for anybody. But it's like when you tell people, they hear words like Jesus, and they go, oh, I already know about that, and truth, and that, and just people saying truth, being truthful with yourself. Well, when you're an addict, you're delusionally lying about everything. So, you have to really come to the realization of ownership and going, I put myself in here. I'm going to be accountable. I did this to this person and that, and I fucking was a fucking horrible whatever. I stole from this person and lied right to their face and blah, blah, blah. This cute little bird over here. You probably can't see. He's on the shopping cart right there. Hello, little snowbird. Just having, come on, Hercules, I'm done with the bullshit. Let's go. I got to get your balls cut off. You're fucking annoying. Just the unadulterated, pure 100%. Here's the truth. This is what's going on. This is what I've been. This is who I am. And this is what I'm going to do to change it. And people just, it's so hard to even talk about because it's so, come on. It's so hard to even talk about because it's so fucking basic that people don't want to face it, or they just have this yeah attitude. But when the Bible says the truth will set you free, that's from the Bible. Them are the words of Christ himself. When you realize the truth will set you free, I don't know. It's just so simple. Yet people make it so complicated because they think that their softcore version of the truth of, well, I'm not really that bad. I mean, the doctor prescribes it, or, yeah, I might have fucking bounced a couple checks, or I might have, pawned. I remember I fucking pawned 3 DVD players from a church I worked at just to get money for, and I didn't even need the money. I just did it to do it. You know what I mean? From a church. I mean, they were, and here's where we go to right here. This is where I was going. They were a fucking bunch of assholes at the church anyways, and all they cared about his money, and I just justified it in my head. So, there you go.